This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back, everybody. Today, we are going to improve your health, and we're going to focus on your circle of life. Now, when I hear those words, I think of movie The Lion King, and I think that was an Elton John song from it.
Yes.
Mid-90s, somewhere around there. Not that circle of life,
No.
but one that's just as important. And she is an integrative nutrition health coach at My Kind of Healthy and works with people on their circle of life, which can be a game changer in your life. Katie Patterson joins us on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Steve. Thanks. How are you?
Eager to learn about this thing, circle
Okay.
of life. We started talking for a second about it before we jumped in here.
Mm-hmm.
And right away, I'm getting visuals like, whoa, this is really important stuff. If you want to live a positive life, feel good, feel joy, feel healthy, and all of that, right?
Definitely. What it is it encompasses everything that goes into building your world and your life. Your health, however you want to see that. You kind of look at it as a circle or as a plate, either way. And what I kind of do is you break it up into different pie wedges, and each wedge is a different faction of your life. It's your work, it's your home life. And within your home life is your home environment. The people that you surround yourself with, your relationships, your friends, your family. Whether or not you have religion in your life, if you bring joy to your life, if you actually go out and seek activities and friendships and things that bring you joy, that is all of that. It becomes a circle. And when one of those things is out of alignment, the rest of your world has to fight to kind of make up for it. And that's usually what throws you off. And so if you look at it that way, and usually what I do when I start working with someone is I literally give them a circle that is broken down into charts or into pie wedges. And I have them fill the circle in as much as they think they are fulfilled in that area of their lives. And when you actually start filling it in, and then you sit back and you look at the circle, you can see which wedges are more blank than others, which wedges you feel more fulfilled in. And you literally get a visual of where you think you are. And that kind of becomes a roadmap to starting to figure out how we go about looking at this person's health and their health journey and what needs to happen to try to get them healthy. Because if you're not healthy with your relationships, if you're not happy at work, if you're not content with your fulfillment, actually, your sexuality is one of those things in there too. All of these different things play into it. And if you're not fulfilled in one of those areas, you're going to try to make up for it in other areas and not always in the best way.
One word comes to mind, balance. There needs to be a very intentional, specific balance to the circle of life. And
Definitely.
And also coming to mind here is when one thing is a little bit off, you're going to make up for it in different areas. And sometimes that can be gravitating toward things that aren't the best for you, be it substances,
It is.
certain activities, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Wow.
You make up for it in that way. You try to, I think, ignore the fact that there's something going on sometimes. And you try to find fulfillment, like you said, in possible toxins or different things that you should not put into your body. Also, what happens is when you're not fulfilled, say you're not getting enough sleep, you're too tired to work out, you're too tired to even think about eating the right foods. You just do what's easy for you. You do what comes naturally, which is to make yourself feel happy quickly. And that's not always the best thing. So it's a perfect roadmap to be able to sit there and give somebody a really good picture as to what needs to be worked on. And sometimes it's not at all what you think.
How do you mean?
Somebody can sit there and they can start filling in this graph, right? And they really start to think about this, because I don't have somebody do it in 5 minutes. This is something that you think about and that you really try to focus on for a while. And all of a sudden, they're like, things at home are tough. I'm in a weird situation. Like I'm not happy with my living environment even. You know what I mean? If somebody has a very cluttered house and there's someone that doesn't handle that and that can't deal with mess or can't deal with chaos, but they see that all of a sudden their home itself has become very, very dirty. Not even dirty as far as needing to be
Grime.
dusted and vacuumed,
Right.
but dirty in the fact that there's just stuff everywhere. It's chaotic. It's messy. It has to set off a light bulb saying, why? Why is this like this? And maybe that's part of the reason that I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, that I'm feeling a little stressed out. Because if you're in an environment that invokes chaos, that invokes anxiety, that's going to lead you to be stressed in other areas of your life.
Totally got you on that. And let's start, or let's focus right there with what you said in terms of chaos in your home and things.
Yeah.
So two things come to mind. Many years ago, I'm connected to somebody who's very intuitive professionally.
Yes.
And they said to me that when you have like just boxes and things like just, I got that on the floor, I got that over there, whatever it might be, you are blocking the flow of energy.
Yes.
You don't even realize what's going on.
No.
You might not even know why you feel off, but it's traced right back to those things that are blocking you.
Yes.
And about a year ago, I spoke with a professional or organizer who is also an intuitive, and it's her belief that we're not messy. It's not that, I'm disorganized and it's just the way I am. She says, there is specific reasons emotionally, be it you've got things you need to heal from. There's more going on there than just, the drawer is all messy. She says, that's never the case. Never. Get rid of that thought that I'm just a messy person. No, there's something that you're messy or disorganized because you got other stuff going on that you need to address. You got to figure it out, though.
It's emotional baggage leads to actual baggage
I
all over
guess
your
so.
house. I mean, in a way, it really is a huge thing. Like I look at my kids, and it's so funny because when their rooms are messy, they don't want to be in their bedrooms. They are not productive. They don't do their homework as well. They're a little bit grumpier. My daughter doesn't want to go to sleep in there, so she literally hangs in my room until I kick her out because they just don't want to. When I force them sometimes to actually pick up their room, and I'm like, look, I'll even help you. It just literally, you can breathe easier when you walk into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not even just about your bedroom or your space at home. It could be where you work. It could be your work environment. It could be, and mess could just be a word for it, where it could just be a chaotic environment in general that is causing chaos within you. Anything like that. Or it could be chaos being caused by bad relationships, by people in your life that stress you out, or that bring you discomfort in some way, and you're not being fulfilled emotionally. There's so many different factors that go into it. And all of it will lead to something else that will lead to, like I was just saying before, my daughter doesn't want to go to bed because her bedroom's a mess. You don't sleep well. You don't sleep well surrounded by chaos, whether it's chaos in your head or chaos within your life, your actual environment. It affects everything.
I'm quietly chuckling at the kid thing because so many kids just go in their rooms and never come out. Basically, I don't know if you know the drill. Like, it's dark, you have the LED lights around this. Yeah.
Yes.
So part of me is like, well, at least that gets them out of there. If it's messy, that they don't want to be in their room. But at the same time, it's counterproductive in many regards.
Is.
And we don't even know this is going on. We don't realize it, and we're creatures of habit. So you just get used to call it chaos, whatever you want to call it, and you just do it every day. Like, this is the way it is, and you need to make a change.
And once I look at a client's circle of life, and they kind of try to go over it with me. Sometimes you can see the light bulb go off in them immediately when it's easy to recognize where they're not fulfilled. Sometimes they don't quite understand how they've gotten to that place, and they get like, you have to kind of work with somebody and try to figure out exactly what it is that they think has happened, or they think why, and what they think they're doing to compensate for it. Because I can't sit there and tell somebody, well, this is exactly the reason you're eating chocolate cake at 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't say that. Someone has to come to that understanding themselves. And that could take a little while. And that's where emotional eating comes in. And again, it's so many different factors. It's also, there's another concept within integrative nutrition where the food and what you consume is broken down into two different factors. One is primary food and one is secondary food. Primary food is what you eat. Primary food is literally what you put on your plate. But then if you look at that circle of life, or I call it sometimes the plate of life, everything else that you put into your world, you are consuming that on a daily basis. So that is secondary food. And sometimes maybe you need to change up what your secondary food is in order to make your relationship with primary food a little bit better.
Ooh, all right. Let's look at the secondary. More examples of what that might be.
Secondary food is literally anything that you consume on a daily basis, whether it's the people you hang out with, it is where you work, your work environment, it is the music you listen to or choose not to listen to, it is books that you consume, it is being surrounded by social media and these different messages that come across that sometimes cause, like, look, I'm a woman, and there are women on social media who try to make you feel bad about yourselves and try to make you feel like you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not thin enough, your skin's not clear enough, too many wrinkles. It goes on and on and on. And we consume that. And then that message starts to make us believe that. And then it changes our body image. It changes how we think about ourselves, because that is what we're allowing ourselves to consume. And unfortunately, it's really hard to escape it. It's really hard to escape it. But sometimes we have to tell ourselves, look, I'm not going to sit in bed and scroll at night and look at all of this stuff right before I go to sleep, because that is the last messages that I see.
Well, it's interesting. It's called secondary food. But what are you looking at? You're looking at a social media feed.
Oh, wow. I never thought about that.
I just came up with that, by the way.
But you know what? It's very true, because you consume it.
Yes, you do.
Every little thing, you take it in. And I'm not trying to hype on social media or to
no, it's reality.
Exactly. It's the way it is. It's just what we decide and what we allow ourselves to consume, to watch, to view, whatever word you want to see. It's what we allow ourselves to take in on a daily basis.
And even that word consume, from the media side of things, because I'm involved in that as well.
Of course.
When we talk about that, it's called media consumption. It
Yes.
really is. That
Yes.
is the term, and when they do studies, it'll come back. People between the ages of 18 and 34 consume X amount of social media or any kind of media per day, blah, 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 blah. It's consumption. It's called consumption. So, just validating your point here of the secondary food.
It is. And there are so many different things. And all of that goes into the way we think about ourselves, how we perceive our lives, and what's important to us and what's not important to us. And sometimes taking a step back and really looking at all of that and looking at what we take in mostly on a daily basis, sometimes we can say, well, maybe I need to try to add something else in, so I do a little bit less of the bad. So really, you don't want to look at it. I never want to tell somebody, you need to cut your social media time, your scrolling time, your time on TikTok, whatever. You need to cut that down by 4 hours. Because you're on it way too much. Again, I'm thinking teenagers. But instead, maybe you say, well, how about you go take a walk for a half hour a day? That'll eliminate a half hour of it right there.
Without your phone.
Without your phone, yes. Maybe just listen to some music. Maybe try to read a book. It's really a matter of trying to bring in other things
Yeah.
to crowd out the other stuff.
You know what I
And
do
it
now, to your point, and this is just like, I'm sure a lot of people have epiphanies, but I don't really watch a lot of TV. It doesn't do it for me. I don't know
Yeah,
what it is. I find myself bored. If I watch with somebody else, usually that's when it takes place. I'm not going to be sitting in
me
bed.
too.
I'll leave it on. I'm not looking at it. But I've, in the last month, found myself listening to music before I go to bed,
Okay.
and songs that I've heard a million times, played them on the radio a million times, but
Hmm.
never really look close at the lyrics.
Yeah,
It's magical.
it
Like
can be.
oh my
Yes.
gosh, like when you really, and why did you like that song in the first place? There is a reason, whether it's
Yeah.
subconscious, energetic. For example, there's a song called I've Been Searching So Long by the band Chicago. It came out in like
Okay. Yeah.
1974. And I always used to listen to that song occasionally. And I'm like, I used to think that it talks about a relationship. I've been searching so long for this person. I found them.
Hmm.
It's not about that. I've been searching so long, and this is the lyrics, to find the answer. It's why the hell am I here?
Yeah.
That's what the song is about. I never even knew. Like I heard it a million times, never even knew. And when
Yeah.
you look at those lyrics, OMG, like it's like wow. And
But
that's just
that's such a good example of how you're consuming it, how you're consuming the music. You can just have it on in the background and you're hearing it, you're singing along, but you're
sure.
not really paying attention to it. When you do what you did, that is a whole different way of trying to consume it. And look, they say music tames the savage beast. Music is good for your soul, and I fully believe that.
Mm,
Music can be healing.
yeah.
Music can be a source of life and understanding, and have people get to the point where they feel like the songwriter like really knows me. She's getting into my head. They know exactly what I'm thinking, and nobody else understands it. And
Yeah.
sometimes that can be really helpful.
A hundred
But yes,
percent.
that's a much better thing to do than falling asleep to watching the news at night and
Right,
see all
right.
this ugliness that's going on in the world.
Or scrolling
Well,
and
yes.
comparing yourself to others, and you
Yeah.
might not even know you're doing it, but you're doing it. Your
Of
brain is
course you
doing it,
do.
right?
Of course you do. Why do you buy the products you buy? Half the time you're influenced to buy it online
Mm.
by these people that are purposely put there to influence you.
They're called influencers. They
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
and they get paid a lot of money for that.
Of course
A
they
lot, a
do.
lot of money. Yeah, yeah. And so, it, can you tell me when you work with somebody on the circle of life,
Hmm.
do they have epiphanies? Like when they sit with it and
A lot of the
realize,
times, yes.
yeah,
A lot of the times they do. Especially when they see the whole thing completed.
mm,
And there's a few different ways to do it. It's either drawing it in or just doing lines that some lines don't actually reach the end of the circle. Your goal is to get every single pie filled in the same amount, or every single line to reach the edge of the circle. You want to create a circle. When you see that that circle isn't complete, it's really a good way to actually take a good look at your life. Some
mm,
people go into denial about it. Those are the people that really aren't being honest with themselves in the first place, and they're not even filling it in honestly. So usually what I do is we do the circle of life in the very beginning, and then we'll do it like the third or fourth session to see if anything has changed. And then we do it again at the end. And then you really kind of can see what has changed, if anything has changed, what you still want to work on. And sometimes the circle of life can steer us towards a different way. Maybe at first you feel like you kind of need to help, a little bit of help with your stress and with your anxiety and with your sleep. So we figure out a more like a morning routine for somebody. Instead of sleeping in and hitting snooze, you wake up. You actually get up a little earlier. You journal a little bit in the morning, or do
mm,
morning pages, and all these different techniques that people can do to kind of get their mind going in the morning. Even do that before you have your first cup of coffee, or maybe you read a little bit, or maybe you get up and go for a walk. Set a morning routine, and sometimes that sets your whole day. And then that can put you on a better path. Sometimes it's somebody who really needs to look at something and say, hey, I am miserable at my job. I don't want to be here anymore. And I really think it's affecting the rest of my life.
mm.
And then somebody tries to decide whether or not to take a step to make a change there. Everybody has a choice where they want to be in their life. I shouldn't say everybody. Some people have circumstances, which I fully understand, that are completely beyond their control. A lot of people have choices where they can try to make some changes.
Now, I don't minimize anything, but just to your point, yeah, many of us are dealing with some hellacious situations.
Yeah.
But ultimately, and I know this is like a hard pill to swallow, but we have a choice of how we're going to react to it.
Very true.
Ultimately.
Very true. Very true.
It is what it is. And again,
Absolutely.
not minimizing anything.
No.
But you do have a choice. Not easy.
It's very true. And so if you look at a tool like the Circle of Life, you can see where those hardships are in your life, or where you're missing something, where you're lacking, where you want something better for yourself. And that's when the client has to make the choice to what they want to do about it. I can't force anybody to do anything. I'm not going to even tell them sometimes what they need to do. That's when they have to start thinking and trying to figure it out. And then once they decide, okay, I really do think my job is the problem, then we can always strategize and try to figure out different things that they can do within that to try to help themselves.
You know what's interesting?
And to try to bring more joy.
You're an integrative nutrition health coach.
Yes.
And one might think, well, she just does meal plans and stuff like that. It's all about food.
No.
It's not what we're doing here today.
It's not. It's not, because literally everything goes into your world. Everything makes up your world, your life, and your health. And it all affects your health. And you can be eating the best, most organic, perfect vegetarian meals, or not that vegetarian's the best, but you could be eating a perfect meal and have a perfect way of eating and still be unhealthy. Because when you're full of anxiety, when you've got chaos surrounding you, when you're lacking something in that circle of life,
yep,
your central nervous system isn't functioning properly. A lot of the times you are in what's called fight or flight, where you literally feel like fight or flight. It goes back to the days of cavemen, where literally you had to fight off the wild animals, the dinosaurs, the tigers, and all of that would come after you. And it tells you to run. That is fight or flight. So when it's an inborn sense that is within us and has been within us since the dawn of man.
That's why we're still here.
It is why we're still here. And we have evolved and we can handle things better, but that fight or flight instinct is still there. And so it's a matter of trying to recognize trauma, recognize when we're emotionally unhappy, recognize when something is off, and then figure out ways to do something about it. Because like you said, we all have a choice to try to do something about it and make life better and happier and healthier.
How does somebody do the Circle of Life with you? How do they even just connect with you?
I am on Instagram and Facebook. I am the Pastry Chef Health Coach, because I am a pastry chef as well, and have been for 24 years.
I think that's just so fantastic. It's not like you're shoving things down somebody's throat in terms of, you need to eat this and do that. No, you enjoy what you eat. You make things for people that they enjoy, i.e.
Yes.
sweet stuff. So
exactly.
Like you said before, it's such a cliche, but it's so true. You can have your cake and eat it too.
Yes. That's a whole other topic for a whole other podcast. But that's when you can try to it's moderation. It's living your life 80-20. It's allowing yourself the treats and the indulgences, because that's life.
Yep.
It is life. But so yes, I am the Pastry Chef Health Coach on Instagram. On Facebook, I am Katie Cakes / My Kind of Healthy, which is my business name. And my business website is mykindofhealthy.com.
Thank you for today. Thank you for the realization of what's going on here. And it's so important. It's everything. And it's not just food.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It's not just food.
All right. Thank you,
Thanks,
Katie.
Steve.
We'll catch up next time.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Take care.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.